World-class faculty, cutting-edge labs, and immersive learning. A vibrant campus life beyond the classroom. SGT University, nurturing future leaders.
A life is hanging in the balance, and what could possibly save it isn't a courtroom appeal or a political intervention, but something called blood money. Yes, you heard that right, blood money, or as it's known in Islamic law, Diya. A 47-year-old Indian nurse, Nimisha Priya, has been sentenced to death in Yemen for the alleged murder of a Yemeni national, her business partner Talal Abdul Mehdi. But there may still be a ray of hope, a hope rooted not in legal arguments, but in ancient Islamic provision where a life may be spared through monetary compensation. So what is blood money? Can it really save Nimisha Priya from the gallows? And has it worked before for Indians facing similar death sentences abroad? Let's explain. Nimisha Priya, a native of Kerala, moved to Yemen for work as a nurse. Her life took a tragic turn in 2018 where she was accused and later convicted of murdering her Yemeni business partner. She allegedly injected him with sedatives, leading to his death in what her family claims was an act of desperation to escape abuse and reclaim her passport. In January this year, Yemen's president Rashid Al Alimi officially gave the green signal for her execution, and now the only option she is left with is blood money. Blood money, or Diya, is part of Islamic Sharia law. Here's how it works. When someone is killed intentionally or unintentionally, the family of the victim can choose between two options. Qisas, the right to retribution, eye for an eye, life for a life, or Diya, monetary compensation paid to the victim's family in exchange for a pardon. It's a way to promote forgiveness over vengeance, a way to elevate the suffering and financial loss of the victims' families rather than simply punishing the accused, the killer. Importantly, the law is not about putting a price tag on life, it's about offering a chance at redemption to the accused. But there's a catch. Even if the family accepts blood money, the state or community or the government can still impose penalties or punishments as a deterrent on the accused. So in Nimisha's case, if the victim's family agrees to accept blood money and officially pardons her, the death penalty may be revoked. Let's take a look at history. There have been several Indian nationals who have faced the noose abroad and were saved through blood money. In 2019, Arjunan Athimuthu from Tamil Nadu escaped death in Kuwait after his family paid 30 crore as blood money. In 2006, Abdul Rahim was sentenced to death in Saudi Arabia for allegedly killing Saudi boy. He was later pardoned after a staggering 34 crore was paid, though he remains behind bars. In 2017, 10 Indians in the UAE were forgiven after the victim's family accepted 2 lakh dirhams. In an even bigger case, 17 Indians on death row in the UAE for killing a Pakistani man in 2009 were released after a blood money payment worth 4 crore was made. The Indian consulate even hired a law firm to help secure the pardon. So yes, blood money has worked. Not once, not twice, but multiple times. Well, that's the burning question. For blood money to work in her case, Talal Abdul Mehdi's family must agree to accept compensation and issue a formal pardon. It is not an easy task. The amount is not fixed, and sometimes the families ask for astronomical sums, not just as compensation but as a form of justice. The Indian government is also actively exploring diplomatic and legal options. Nimisha's family back in Kerala has even launched fundraisers in hopes of raising enough to offer blood money to the victim's kin. But no official amount has been fixed yet, and the clock is ticking. Every minute is important. Blood money is not recognized under India's formal legal system. Indian law does not allow for financial compensation to replace criminal sentencing in murder cases. Justice in India is determined by due process, not lawful settlements. So while India cannot implement Diya domestically, when its citizens are abroad in countries where Sharia law is in place, Indian authorities do cooperate to help negotiate and facilitate pardons, often through blood money. Interestingly, the idea of blood money isn't unique to Islamic law. In 7th century Ireland, under Brehon law, compensation systems were used in the place of death penalty. In Wales, the early legal system enforced a blood fine based on the status of the victim to avoid retaliatory violence between the two. Across cultures and centuries, the concept of resolving grave crimes through compensation has appeared in many forms and in multiple cases. So can blood money save Nimisha Priya? Legally, yes. Practically, it depends on how much her family can raise, on whether the victim's family is willing to forgive, and on how much diplomatic pressure can India apply before it's too late. As Nimisha Priya's fate hangs in balance, one thing is clear: justice, forgiveness, and culture all are colliding in one of the most complex cases of international law and humanity. Will blood money offer Nimisha Priya a second chance at life? That's a question that could be answered any day now, and we will be here to bring you that answer.